So I got the stabilizer bushings installed, and boy, it takes a long time. They're really tight. They're hard to get back into the bracket. And really, the trick to it is you got to loosen both sides so you can move things around easier to get the holes to line up with the bolts. So yeah, so give yourself plenty of time if you do that job. The other side is very, very cramped, much more difficult to replace. This side's not too bad. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is remove this knuckle. I've already zipped off 2 of the bolts. I got 1 more to go. The one in the center I can't get to my, this guy here, I can't get with the zip gun without an extension, so that's why I had to stop after removing the first 2. Need to clean these threads up a little bit, and when I put the new one in, make sure to use, you know what, anti-seize grease. All right, so that's what we're doing, fixing to replace the wheel bearing, the whole wheel bearing and hub assembly. All right, so I got all the bolts out, but this hub isn't coming off, so put 2 of the bolts back in, and I'm going to tap it out with the hammer. See if I can get it to move that way. Make sure you thread these in enough to where you don't damage the threads. Well, either it's rusted in there or it's pressed in or something, so I got to figure that out. But it ain't coming off easy. Anyway, let me put this down so I can do some more damage. Alright, so it's been several days since I've last worked on my wife's car, trying to replace the wheel bearing. The old wheel bearing was definitely bad. I had to travel to my brother's place where he had a 25-ton press to press out the old bearing from this assembly. I've cleaned it up. It's ready to be put back in. There's a new assembly. Problem is, though, the splash cover, also known as a dust cover, for the back of the brake side got destroyed in the process of pressing out the bearing. So I've got one of these on order. It's going to be a few more days. I'm going to go ahead and continue putting it back together. I can put everything back together except for the dust cover and the bearing, because the bearing, when you bolt it down, it fastens in the dust cover. So everything depends on the dust cover, but I can move forward a little bit and get things back together. Well, I was in the process of putting this back together when I happened to notice this little bitty mark here. I thought it was just a piece of dirt or grease or something, but then I noticed if I pull it away, it's a crack, a cut in the boot there for the ball joint all the way through. So I'm gonna have to replace the control arm now. You could just replace the ball joint, I guess. Yeah, let me research and see what's available. The bushings, they didn't seem bad, so I could maybe get away with just replacing the ball joint, but I generally replace the whole thing instead. I'll get online and do some research, but at any rate, the ball joint at a minimum has got to be replaced. I've decided I'm going to be replacing the control arm and ball joint assembly. Reason being, this is the original equipment. This car has 220,000 miles, plus it's like 18 years old. So you can see the rubber here starting to crack. I mean, it's still pretty good, still usable for sure, but I mean, I have to replace the ball joint anyway, so thinking I'll just replace the whole assembly. Maybe we can get another 5-10 years out of this car before something major happens to it. The struts seemed okay, they seem good. I don't know if I'll replace them, but now is the time to do it if you have a problem. Anyway, this is going to be delayed for a while. I've got to order parts, and it's going to take days for them to come in.